What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here with Kevel and Dilly Vanilli. We're here for our NFL Week 17 preview and predictions, our final regular season week of picks.
What?
So you know what that means? If you could do the simple math, that means we're 1 week away from the playoffs. The 2018 NFL playoffs, not 2017. We're getting into 2018 very soon, but before then, we need to still determine some teams who are going to make the playoffs. So that's why this video isn't important. If you want to know who's going to make it to the playoffs, you just got to sit here for probably approximately an hour and a half to 2 hours to listen to me, Dylan, and Kevel rant about whatever teams are going to make it, and we have to get through all those crappy games very quickly and get to the good games where we will discuss the teams that need to win and what needs to happen for them to get in. So before then, I just want to hit up Dilly for our updated standings before our final week of the NFL 2017 regular season.
The standings call is this. Week 16, everybody here that is on this video went 13-3. Mr. AC went 11-5. So
he's slipping.
He's slipping. Just barely. We got 1 week left. Don't see any changes in the first and the second, unfortunately. AC is in first, 161-77 is his record. My record in second, 152-86. Mitch up there in third, 9 games behind me, 143-95. Kev bringing up the rear by 1 game, 142-96. So, if you're out there, are you looking to see one member of the bottom line view, maybe even 2, go to 100 losses? Is it possible this year? We will find out this a week. So, Kev, you need to get less than 4 for that to happen, and Mitch, you need to get less than 5.
I want to ask the audience a question. I've contemplated this, and depending on the answer of the live audience today, this is what will happen. Do you guys want to see me risk it all to pick 10 games different from Dylan? Do you want to see me risk it all to pick 10 games opposite of Dylan? Let me know in the comment section, and I will do it if you guys say so. You won't get to pick the 10 games. I'll pick the 10 games, but I will risk it all and pick 10 different picks from Dilly Vanilli. Even if that means I got to pick the Browns, I'll pick the Browns. So let me know.
All right.
Let me know here on the bottom line view, week 17. We're making this interesting, all right?
So my tally will be up to 20 by the end of the week.
Anyways, and Kevel will probably end up getting third. But anyways, hopefully we can my thoughts are that we should separate the picks from regular season and playoffs because
I agree.
It's not going to make it different. There might be 1 or 2 or 3 games that we change in the playoffs, but mostly everybody has similar picks in the playoffs. That's usually how it works. But we'll get to that when we get to that. I just want to know what you guys think about Week 17. What are the games that you guys are most excited for, and what overall are you looking forward to the most?
Well, this is Week 17. This is the deciding week for some teams to make the playoffs. We only have 3 teams that are in the hunt in terms of not in the playoffs right now, but still have a mathematical chance. Those being the Buffalo Bills, the Los Angeles Chargers, and the Seattle Seahawks. But I'm still interested to see how this goes. The AFC is pretty much locked up. I think, the first 4 seeds, we know that the rankings, if the Steelers win and the Patriots lose, then the Steelers will get the 1 spot and the Patriots get the 2 spot. But we're pretty sure the 1 through 4 spots locked. And I want to see those Ravens game, the Chargers game, the Titans game. Those are definitely going to be interesting in playoff standings. For the NFC, literally anything can really happen because we don't know exactly who's going to be at number 2 or number 3. We don't even know the division winner of the NFC South. So that's going to be a big factor in who's going to play who at what home field. Even though some of these are not the most impressive games, there are some games that are going to determine what we see in the playoffs. So I'm interested to see that going forward. There are at least a couple of good games this week. The Panthers and the Falcons probably being the best game that we have this week. But I'm interested to see the outcome of these.
The playoff games are one thing, and I think that's you've covered that very well. There's some very interesting storylines here that I think I'm looking forward to talking about. As an example, Eli Manning's final game as a New York Giant. Des Bryant's final game as a Dallas Cowboy.
Why are you ruining Dylan's video?
Don't ruin it.
I think everybody knows that that's it. That's it. Deshaun Jackson's final game as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer.
Who cares about that?
Patrick Mahomes starting for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Now we do care about that.
Against the Denver Broncos. And does Jimmy G keep his streak going against the LA Rams? And the Cleveland Browns cement their history not as the worst team in professional football history, the worst team in all of pro sports history.
I will be making a video about this. Well, the which team is better series that I've been doing. I'll do a historical which team is worse, the 2008 Detroit Lions or the 2017 Cleveland Browns. Just gonna keep it up there.
I don't even know how. I think the Browns are way worse. This might be the worst.
You got to go through a statistic. Just kind of.
Yeah.
I'll get confused.
Yeah, and imagine for a moment if the Pittsburgh Steelers lose this game. Can you imagine?
They're too focused on James Harrison.
Yeah.
Hold on. Where's my video from yesterday? Where's my laugh?
I'm not taking the Steelers. Anyway, but yeah,
I might.
I also think
I'll do the laugh then.
The game that interests me also, Seahawks, Cardinals, Panthers, Falcons for obvious reasons. The Tennessee Titans play the Jacksonville Jaguars. If the Titans win, they play the Jacksonville Jaguars again in Jacksonville.
Yep.
I'm just putting that out there. That's a very interesting thing.
All right. And for me, Kev brought up
and your boy, and your mess is fucked up again. It happens. It's happened the last 3 videos.
Damn it, Goodell.
There you go.
It's videos wrong.
F you, Goodell. Okay. The games that I'm interested in, of course, the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Biggest game of the week. I just want to see if Cleveland wins a game. That's it.
Yeah.
What else we got here? I want to see if the Chargers win against the Raiders. Seattle, Arizona is interesting. But the biggest game to me is the Carolina Panthers at the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons win. They're in. The Carolina Panthers win. They've at least clinched the 5th seed. And they might even get up to the 2nd seed, depending on what happens. They can get all the way up to a bye. So there's some crazy things that can happen this week for the Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons. A couple other games is New Orleans. How's New Orleans going to play? How's Patrick Mahomes going to play? That's going to be interesting. And yeah, pretty much everything else that Kev brought up. So let's start.
There's a lot of coaches on the hot seat this week that could be playing their final.
I feel like a lot of them are already kind of out the door by now, but there are a couple, I would say, that maybe are given a last chance this week, depending on how they do this week, what they get out of their team, most importantly. Okay, let's start off with the first game of the week. And from the comment section, checking the comment section out.
It looks like people want you to go balls out for something you're not going to get in second place for.
Okay, so Chiefs fan says, do it for Alex Smith. I did it for The Rock. What else we have here? I think Deshaun also told me to do it.
Deshaun wants you to do it, yes.
All right, we're going to do it. F it. Okay, Dylan, the first game we're picking today.
I got to preview these games first.
It's the Green Bay Packers. I can preview them if you want. The Green Bay Packers at the Detroit Lions. So, Matt Stafford, the Detroit Lions, they choke like the Detroit Lions do typically. Last week against the Cincinnati Bengals. Was it surprising? Maybe a tiny bit. If you know the Detroit Lions and you're a football fan with any length of experience and knowledge, you know that the Lions are prone to giving up that loss. So, at the end of the day, it didn't shock me too much. Green Bay is terrible. Brett Hundley is bad. He's not an NFL quarterback. Their defense is really bad. And without Aaron Rodgers, this team pretty much stinks all around. Detroit, if you take away Stafford from this team, they're pretty much the same team as the Green Bay Packers. So this team is not separated by much except for their quarterback play at this moment in time. Who do you guys have winning this game?
Will this be the week? I know we're going to talk about the Browns and on the 16th, but will this be the week the Lions actually get 100 yards rushing? No. But I'll look forward to it.
No, it has to be 100 yards rushing by one
running back. Yes.
It's not going to happen.
Not going to happen. I'm going to pick the Lions,
I will also like to mention, but just before you pick, if Caldwell loses this game, he's fired, 100%. She probably might already be.
Wait, why would this game determine that?
Because if he loses to Brett Hundley at home in the last game of the season, he's going to get fired.
Yeah, but he already lost the playoff spot. I mean, what are you fighting for right now?
I still think you get fired if you lose to Brett Hundley at home.
I don't think that's the decision. Like, I think they would have already made that decision last week. I don't know. They probably will announce it next week, whatever. I'm going with the Lions, though. Matthew Stafford's the key point to say in here. I think maybe Golden Tate will have a good game. The Packers have nothing to play for. They have nobody healthy. Devontae Adams was on the sidelines. They got shut out by the Vikings last week, which, yes, are a better team, a much better team than the Lions. But they didn't put up any effort in any fight, and they got a bunch of people on the sidelines, including Clay Matthews. So the Packers aren't winning this game. It's the Lions.
Yeah, I think Caldwell's already out the door. I think the interesting question is going to be about Mike McCarthy, because I think he might be out the door as well. And a lot of people are talking about that. I think that is a possibility. I will go with the Lions here. I'm not confident in this pick. I just have a feeling Green Bay is going to pop this out for some reason. But two coaches certainly on the hot seat. Two teams that are going nowhere fast and have a lot of work to do beyond their quarterback. And, Hundley, you're right, is not an NFL quarterback, but the Detroit Lions are really a bad team all around. Lots of work to be done. And two coaches on the hot seat. And I think very likely, I will predict, I think both coaches are gone at the end of the season.
Okay. And for myself, I'm going with the Detroit Lions. This is not one of the picks that I'm going differently. I'm staying with Detroit. Green Bay is on the road. I just don't like. If this was in Green Bay, I might actually pick this one just to be different for you guys and try and catch up to Dylan, because this is the entertainment value of Mitch Milani here. I'm not just all in it for myself. I'm in it to entertain.
No, you are.
This game is all about Detroit. I think Matt Stafford's too much. I think Caldwell does have a lot to coach for. I understand that McCarthy, his job is on the line as well, but I think that this is a season where I think they give him a pass with no Rodgers, despite, I think I actually think that the Green Bay Packers are going to look at the players and the personnel and not the coaching. I think that they're going to look at the team and their weaknesses in terms of what are they putting on the football field and try and fix that before they try and fix the coach. I think that's the bigger issue. I think Mike McCarthy is a top 10 coach.
Well, McCarthy led them, or not just McCarthy, but McCarthy was a part of the NFC Championship game last year. So, I mean, I think they'll give him a little more time than one bad year to have that happen.
Yeah, I agree with that. So I'm going to go with Detroit, and yeah, simple as that. That's not one of the 10 games that I'll have different from Billy Vanilla.
10 games, ladies and gentlemen. 10.
The next game is the Houston Texans at the Indianapolis Colts. Jacoby Brissett at home with the Colts. The Colts playing a lot of close games. The Houston Texans, on the other hand, got their ass whooped by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, is that good Steelers or just really terrible Texans? You could say It might be a combination of both. Colts kept it close against the Ravens, but ultimately just not talented enough to get it done. I think that Pagano is probably out the door for the Colts, even in a season where he's lost his quarterback and doesn't have Andrew Luck. But I think that they realize that the Colts, yes, not a ton of talent there, but at the same time, Pagano's been an issue for a couple of seasons now, not just this season. And I think they need a new face and a new guy at the top there leading the charge for their upcoming teams of the future. They already made the GM switch last year. They're going to make the coaching switch this year. That's the way I feel about it. The Texans, The O'Brien question is interesting, but I do think that they give him another year personally because I think they look at what he did with Deshaun Watson early in the season and what he did for him and how they set up this offense and what they were capable of doing. And they obviously lost 3 of their 4 best players this season to injuries. So I think that O'Brien is afforded another year. He's made the playoffs numerous times. He is a pretty decent coach overall. So I think he will have a job next year as the head coach of the Texans. Where do you guys put your money in this game? Are you going with the Colts? Are you going with the Texans in the meaningless game week 17?
By the way, go subscribe to the Bottom Line View NHL. We have 900 subscribers on that, so keep going to that. Very impressive guys over there. John, all those guys in Austin.
Me, I do things there too.
Kev, yes.
Oh!
Kev.
Oh. The guy I laughed at yesterday. Okay, for Texans and Colts, I got to go with the Colts. The Texans had to go to their 4th-string quarterback, Tyler Hinckley. I don't remember his name. Whatever. That's an issue. I don't even know if Yates is playing or not. I think he came back, but they had to use a 4th-string quarterback at one point. They looked disastrous because they have no QB talent. The Colts at least have Jacoby Brissett. They have T.Y. Hilton. They have at least a little bit of some game going on. Again, I can't name many defenders on the Colts because who are they? But at the same time, the Colts play with a little bit of passion. Jacoby tries his best to do something on the field. And against the Ravens, they put up a little bit of a fight to try to make that game competitive and make it to where the Ravens lose. But at the end of the day, the Ravens won. So against a much, much worse team, I'm going with the Colts.
Yeah, first of all, as far as the coaches, I do think Pagano will be gone, and I think they're going to keep O'Brien. I think Deshaun Watson's already stated that they shouldn't fire O'Brien. I think that'll have a lot of weight in that. I'm picking I'm going to go with the Texans here. I just think they have the more of the talent than the Colts, just overall. I know that they have their 9th-string quarterback. But, I mean, it's really a flip between Tweedledee and Tweedledum, with all due respect. Interesting questions going forward with the Colts is, what do you do about Andrew Luck? You have the 3rd pick, which is a potential quarterback pick. I'm just saying.
There's not a quarterback in this draft.
There's not a talented enough QB. And even if
they had number 1 pick, it would be different.
Yeah, well, they may be able to call a certain team with an 0-15 record and say, "Hey, do you want to?" Just saying. I think
it's fair. If I was the Browns, I would do that 100%.
Because the Browns also had the number 4 pick.
What's the trade offer?
I would go for the 1st pick. I would 1st pick for Andrew Luck. Hell, I would still do it if I was Cleveland. I would, but anyway,
maybe.
Yeah. We'll talk about the Browns later. I do have a prediction of a quarterback that I think might end up there. And yeah, I just think, this is Tweedledee, Tweedledum, but I think Tweedledee will win. I will pick the Texans.
Kind of confused by that, but okay.
These are 2 terrible teams, but
who's playing the QB this week for the Texans?
Dylan Villa, I think, is
maybe, and they might get.
Oh, no, he's so great! That's why go Dylan.
I threw 1 pass in high school. It went. I completed it.
Hey, you're more than Tyler Hinckley.
There you go. Yes. You gonna make your pick, Mitch?
Okay.
I'm
going with the Houston.
I know he's gonna pick the. What? No, because he always picks.
I gotta pick 10 different games from Dilly Vanilli this week. All right,
see, I can't take it seriously, so
I gotta go with the Houston Texans. I actually think they have a chance of winning this game. I don't know why this is like laughable to Dylan. Yeah. Like,
I just know because the QB.
They're playing like the 07 Patriots. They're playing the freaking Colts, okay?
It's a 4-11 versus a 3-12 team here, Dylan. I mean, it's not like...
No. I'm just laughing because of the QB. Who is the Hinckley?
This is what it's going to come down to. This is my argument for the Houston Texans. The coaching. Okay. Bill O'Brien, my boy Mike Vrabel, my boy Wesley Welker.
Mike Vrabel.
They're going to put together a game plan here.
He scored 2 offensive touchdowns.
It's going to be a stroke of genius. The Houston Texans, Jadeveon Clowney, 3 sacks on Jacoby Brissett, too much pressure. The Texans will take this game.
Mike Vrabel has 2 offensive touchdowns in Super Bowls. So.
All right.
That's the
next game is the Chicago Bears at the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings, they win, they have the bye. They lose, they open the door for another team to steal that bye. Now, Chicago Bears pounded the Browns into the dirt last week. They're a tough football team. They're a team that probably needs a new head coach next year. But as me and Kevol have agreed, they're a team that has a bright future, in our opinions. The Minnesota Vikings, the future is now. Case Keenum is your leader. This defense is ready to go. Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, Latavius Murray. They're all ready to go. They're ready for their Super Bowl run. And they need to win this game, the Vikings, so that they can maximize their home field advantage on their road and their trip to the Super Bowl. Who do you guys having winning this game between the NFC North rivals, the Bears and the Vikings?
Chicago might want to consider moving to another division because they're 4-0 against the AFC North and 1-10 against everybody else in the league. So maybe talk to Roger about that. But you're playing against the wrong division. You're doing the AFC North, not the NFC North. So with that said, I'm picking the Vikings. They need to get that They need to get the number 2 seed to get that bye. The only way that they wouldn't play at home in the entire playoffs is if they play Philadelphia. And as we've spoken, they're probably going to lose in their first game. So the Vikings will probably have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. We need this victory to secure that. A couple of other things can happen where they're out of it. They could even be as low as the 4th seed, which is pretty crazy. But all things considered, the Vikings want to get this victory. It's not a sealed thing like some other games here. So got to go with the Vikings. The defense is going to pressure Mitchell Trubisky to make a couple of bad passes.
I think this game is going to be a lot closer than people are thinking. I've
heard that from Kev many times.
I think the Vikings will win a very close game. I think that this Bears team is going to put up a hell of a fight. And there's something not sitting right with me right now about this Vikings team. I don't know what it is. That defense is damn good. I'm not going to dispute that. That secondary is probably right now the best in the league. I will grant you that.
You just don't like Case.
Yeah, there's something not right about Case. I'm just not sure that, at the end of the day, this is a guy that's going to carry the team to the Super Bowl, but that'll be interesting. And I do wonder this loss of Dalvin. We haven't talked about this yet. You're right, Mitch. They have a lot of depth, but they are missing Dalvin Cook, which I think is a key factor going forward.
Okay, it happened again. Your voice happened again.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought they got past that after Latavius Murray and Jared McKinnon been playing well. So yeah, I know you missed the presence of Dalvin Cook, but
I think when you're looking at someone like the Saints with Kamara and Ingram, if they face a team like the Saints, that combination I think gives Saints a bit of an edge. Also, I'm just going to point out something. Jonathan Stewart ran roughshod on this Minnesota Vikings team not a couple of weeks ago. I think the Bears are going to be able to run the ball a lot better than people think. I think this game will be closer than you think. I'm gonna do it. What the hell? We have nothing else to lose.
Good shit, Kev.
I'm picking the Bears.
You don't want to lose this week.
Bears.
Is anybody making sensible picks? Okay.
You know who's making sensible picks? This guy. I'm picking the Minnesota Vikings.
Okay, there you go.
I'm sorry, Kevol. This game was in Chicago. I'd strongly consider it, but it's not. And as much as I love the Bears, the Vikings have too much to play for in this game. They need to tune up before the playoffs. I don't think they'll be taking this one lightly. And yes, the Bears do play them closely historically, but I think that the Vikings are going to take this game. Their defense is strong enough, and I do think Case Keenum is better than you give him credit for. I think the Vikings are a strong team that I think nobody really wants to play. Sure, they might lose in the playoffs, and I wouldn't be shocked, but I still think that they're a strong team. So I'm going to go with the Vikings. The next game is the New York Jets at the New England Patriots. I'm going with the Patriots. I'm just going to say.
Okay, I don't need to preview this game.
Bryce Petty is playing quarterback. James Harrison may see his first action for the New England Patriots in spurts. I would like to bring up that the Patriots have been sacking the quarterback a lot more recently. They got 6 sacks against Tyrod Taylor last week.
Ooh.
Good effort. Dion Lewis. Okay, this is what I want to see from this team. This is honestly my thoughts on Dion Lewis and the running back situation. The more Dion Lewis gets the ball for the Patriots, the better the offense is. Give him the ball. Give him the ball.
Give him the ball, I guess. Patriots. They have no – Josh McCown's not playing, so why would I pick the Jets?
Check out my MVP video. Todd Gurley or Tom Brady? Who's going to win the MVP and why? Check that video out. G-Plug.
Congratulations, Todd Bowles. You got 5 more wins than a lot of people picked that you had this season. So, applause to you.
Congratulations. Yes, I did predict him to go 1-15. So, yes, go. Yeah, congratulations.
So, congratulations. You're not going to win this game, though. The Patriots will.
There you go. See, that's the easiest predictions they could do all week.
What I want to see for Patriots fans out there, what I want to see this week is I want to see pressure continue. I want to see if we can get a couple plays out of James Harrison. And I want to see this be a nice, controlled victory from start to finish. If you're a Patriots fan, that's what you want to see. And hopefully Tom Brady can leave the game with 10 minutes left and Brian Hoyer can go in. All right.
Hoyer's going to play like 3 quarters, honestly.
The next game is the Washington Redskins, which for some reason people will still not pay the man in Kirk Cousins. But nonetheless, he's playing the New York Giants, who desperately need to pay a man to play their quarterback position. Eli Manning, is this his last game? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Who knows? Maybe he'll be a Jaguar next year. We don't really know. The Giants are in shambles. People are accusing others of being cancers in the locker room. Eli Apple has been suspended. This team is an absolute joke right now, but I'm going to wait for Dilly to see who he picks.
Why does somebody think when they're on the team with the same person that calling them a cancer on a radio show is going to improve the team? Are you dumb? Okay, say that to other teammates. I don't care, but you're on radio saying that about your own teammates. This season has been a disaster for the Giants, a disaster on all levels. I know they fired McAdoo. Congratulations, but there's still a lot of problems to fix with this organization. And the Redskins still have at least a little bit of something, you know, Cousins, whatever. They got to figure out where they're going on moving forward. But I'm going to go with the Redskins. They seem like the more, non-distraught team, a team that's not as completely destroyed in every way, shape, and form. There at least are some pieces there, mostly Kirk Cousins. But the Giants can't win a game to save their life. They're 2 wins against the Broncos and the Chiefs. So, and the Chiefs were in that weird stretch. I don't know. Going with the Redskins.
Yeah, this Giants team is just awful in every way, shape, or form. They couldn't even pick their interim coach right. I mean, Spagnuolo is, I don't know if he's that much better than McAdoo. Yeah. Lots to clean up there. I'm not sure if, I know that Josh Rosen doesn't want to play in Cleveland. Does he really want to be in this mess in New York? I guess we'll see if Josh McDaniels can clean it up as he's the leading candidate, but I will pick the Washington Redskins here, although I think Jay Gruden is coaching this last game as the Redskins. We've discussed if this is the right thing or not. It's probably not the right thing to fire him, but I think he is going to be fired.
I'm going with the New York Giants.
This is one of his 10 picks, so I can't even do that.
One of my 10 different picks here. The Giants are playing at home. This is an NFC East game. They're going to play. This is going to be their Super Bowl right here. They're going to win it with all their practice squatters playing receiver and whatever other positions.
A man on his own.
They're going to get it done, baby.
Cancer. And you're picking that team.
They're gonna get it done. Okay. They're all gonna gang up. They're all gonna get together. They're gonna have a pre-game speech that's gonna just motivate them to win this football game.
But they're 2-13. I wonder what their motivation is. You all get incentives, okay?
Beat the Redskins. That's their incentive.
God.
The next game.
You're just helping my status in second place.
Is the Dallas Cowgirls at the Philadelphia She-Eagles in a NFC East showdown.
That means nothing.
is between two extremely mediocre football teams at this moment in time. The Eagles barely survived an onslaught from the great Oakland Raiders on Christmas Eve.
I sense some sarcasm.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was day.
And the Cowboys just straight up stink. They lost to the Seahawks. Like, come on. Right, Kevel?
No, apparently to Kevel, he's the team. Kevel's the guy that wants we can't face him in the playoffs. You can't face the Seahawks in the playoffs.
You know what? I think it might even be time for like a preacher or something to come out here and give the last rites to the Dallas Cowboys.
Mitchell Mullany.
Oh, who's this?
This is Jerry Jones here. Mitchell Mullany.
I didn't call Jerry Jones.
Mitchell Mullany.
How'd you get my number, Jerry?
Mitchell Mullany, I have spies everywhere. You think that's Devin McCourty behind you there? That Devin McCourty right there. That's a camera over there. You haven't talked properly about the Dallas Cowboys in about 4.5 minutes, and it's time, I think, very important to talk about.
But isn't it better for you if we talk about Jerry Jones, not the Dallas Cowboys?
Well, it actually, and top of mind is always Jerry Jones. He should be the most important thing. You talk about there's Jerry Jones, and then there's Jesus Christ, and you talk about Jerry Jones first. Jerry Jones is far more important than even Jesus Christ. And I actually want to make a proposal here, Mitchell Mullany. You haven't talked about the Dallas Cowboys, and now I'm timing this. It's now 5 minutes that you haven't talked about the Dallas Cowboys properly. I just want to say that I think that we should be canceling the Seattle Seahawks and the Atlanta Falcons from participating in the playoffs for illegally defeating the Dallas Cowboys in football games. You look at that, and I just allowing touchdowns and things like that.
And Jerry, don't you think it's kind of like unfair to your football team that they lost their best player for 6 weeks?
Oh, it's absolutely unfair. And it's also unfair that we're not able to draft every single player in the draft that we possibly could. Like, all of the players in the NFL should be on the Dallas Cowboys. And does anybody really know where a Seattle is? Nobody even has heard of a Seattle, so they shouldn't even be in the football. And you look at the number one Forbes team, it is the Dallas Cowboys. It's the most important thing. And I should also be the commissioner of the National Football League. And I think what's also top of mind is the lack of clapping in the second half from Jason Garrett. He's got to be better at clapping, I think. Clap stronger in the second half. I think that will help.
Yeah, I didn't sense the crispness on his claps.
Yeah, there's no tom in his clapping there. So I think that's very important. Let's all maybe practice clapping over in the off season.
All right. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you very much. We got to cut you off there. Sorry, Jerry. All right.
What the hell happened? How does Jerry Jones get in here?
You know what's crazy is that your camera didn't turn on until he left.
Yeah, it was very strange.
Very weird.
Anyways, Dylan, you're the Cowboys fan. What are your thoughts on what Jerry had to say and the Dallas Cowboys in general?
I actually thought that was kind of funny. I don't know what to say. I mean, I kind of already did my rant yesterday, but the Cowboys just they don't really resemble anything worth of note this season. It was a disaster on all fronts. Even being at the record we are right now, could have just decided to, tank after 5 and 6. Maybe not the worst idea after what we see now, but all things considered, we got this Cowboys-Eagles game that literally means nothing. And I am still going to pick my Dallas Cowboys for 2 reasons. One, the Eagles have looked pretty bad the last couple of weeks. Their game against the Raiders just looked atrocious from all accounts. And 2, the Eagles have nothing to play for. They've already clinched the number 1 seed. So what's the point? Cowboys get a pity win.
I agree with you on the first point, but I don't agree with you on the second point. I think the Eagles have to actually play. I think this is a bigger game for the Eagles than you think. I mean, you're looking at a team that's got the number 1 seed that I think people are quite frankly salivating at the idea right now of playing at Philadelphia. I mean, we talk about who you don't want to play in the playoffs. I think people are looking forward right now to playing this Eagles team.
Probably. I agree.
I think
100%.
So I think that they need to establish that again.
I don't think it's looking forward. I think it's they're not afraid.
They're not afraid. There's no fear. And would that be different with Carson Wentz? Maybe a little bit, but I think that there's also some other things that are not as strong. I don't think this running game is as strong. I don't think that secondary is as strong as people think. I think it's a very vulnerable secondary. That's also interesting. I
also want to stop you and just say I don't want to put a ton of stock in that Raiders game, a game that was one of the most bizarre games I've seen in quite a long time. Like, I feel like I don't want to just put a ton of stock in that game. I'll put stock into the other games, the Giants game, the Rams game, what was the game?
The game before that was the Seahawks game.
So these last 4 games, it's starting to become a trend of poor play from the Eagles. Now, a couple of them were with Wentz, a couple of them were without Wentz. But what I will take away from the Raiders game is that there has been a trend of poor play. Not necessarily that they're going to turn the ball over 5 times again, because I don't think that's going to happen. But
no. But this isn't a team. This isn't the scary team. I will pick the Eagles here because I think they have more to play for, and I think they love beating Dallas. If they can sweep the Cowboys, that's a good thing for them. I'll pick the Eagles here.
Yeah, I think actually I'm obviously going with the Eagles. This is one of my 10 picks. But the reason I'm going with the Eagles is I think Dallas has lost their will to win here. I don't think that they really care for the win. I think they've given up on their season. I think they're going to pack it up. They've already packed it up from the Seahawks game. They're already looking forward to seeing if Earl Thomas is going to be traded to them. And they're not really caring about anything else. I think Jerry Jones already talking about next season, already talking about what needs to be done for this football team next season, not talking about the Eagles and finishing this season strong. I don't think the Cowboys care very much. I think the Eagles do care. I think they've seen how they play. I think they need to make up for some mistakes, make up for some poor play, and have a strong outing going into the bye where they're going to have another week off, where we've often seen sometimes buys aren't the best thing in modern day NFL. So, you need to be playing well at least and have momentum going into that bye week at the very least, because sometimes buys help some teams, but other times buys do create sloppy football. So we'll see what happens, but I have the Eagles winning this game against the Dallas Cowboys. The next game is the Cleveland Brownies at the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Don't do it.
And all the Steelers are talking about this week is not their opponent.
Which actually, this week they don't have to.
Is their ex-teammate and now current member of the New England Patriots, James Harrison, number 92, practiced for the first time today. And all they're talking about, Pouncey, all he's talking about, all these guys on Twitter, these guys on Instagram talking about James Harrison. Get your head out of your ass. You got a game this week. All right? The Steelers, they need to finish this season strong, just like the Eagles do. They need to get that bye. They have that bye. But they have an opportunity here, however, very slim. If the Patriots do lose and the Steelers do win, they do get the first seed. So the Steelers do have something to play for. Now, it all depends on maybe they scoreboard check and they see the Patriots are winning by a lot of points in the third quarter, and then they decide to sit people in the fourth quarter. We'll see what happens in that game. But I think overall it's going to be a tough one for the Browns to win. The Browns are trying to win a game. They're trying to win a game. Will it happen, guys? Will it happen?
Okay, I got to go on a rant first. Marquise Pouncey is a fucking fool for going out there and blaming James Harrison. Oh, you're ruining your career, tarnishing your career. He's the career leader in sacks for any Pittsburgh Steelers player in history. That's quite the accomplishment. This is the same dumbass that wore a Free Hernandez hat. Yeah, that worked out well for you, buddy. So just to say that, I think he's an idiot for himself for what he has said to the media today about James Harrison and ruining legacies.
Can I also say this, Dylan? Did everybody forget that James Harrison played for the Bengals?
Yeah, I was going to say that, actually.
Like, how much worse can you get to the – like, the Bengals are an actual rival with the Steelers. Like, the Steelers and Patriots and Steelers aren't rivals.
Yeah, they are.
According to Marquise Pouncey, they are.
The Patriots are the Steelers' nemesis.
Well, they're rivals, they're enemies, however you want to tailor it.
The Patriots dominate the Steelers. This is not no rivalry.
Well, whatever you want to tailor it, it's a rival.
The problem is that Marquise Pouncey is a fucking fool. That's just what he is.
Pouncey's a fool, but I just don't understand why people have such a big problem with him going to the Patriots. But he went to the Bengals.
And on top of that, how many snaps did this guy get in this season? Like,
yeah, he got none. And now all of a sudden he's going to be like this game-changing force.
Now it's like, oh my God, we gotta already go. Oh my God, the Patriots, they steal him again. Well, maybe that's your fucking fault that no other team wanted him. No other team picked him up. It's not the Patriots' fault for going, hey, this is a good sign. We actually need to sign somebody from this position. Fucking idiots. Steelers, Browns. I'm sorry, Browns. You're not going to win. The Steelers are going to win this game. As much ranting as I just did there. The Steelers are going to win this game because, I don't know, it's the Browns. Like, the Browns just don't have enough talent, even with bench players of the Steelers, to get this thing done. Kaiser's not going to win them this football game. He's atrocious. They don't have enough talent. The Steelers, I don't know if they're going to try or not. They might try depending on how that Patriots-Jets score is going, but the Steelers are going to win this game. They just have too much talent for the Browns to get. Their Browns are going to finish the second 0-16 season in NFL history.
Yeah, I'm picking the Steelers here, obviously, because I mean, although I have picked the Cleveland Browns 5 times this year, this will not be one of them. They will go in 0-16. What I do want to ask, I think, a couple of things here. This Steelers locker room, like, I mean, I'm not there. I mean, we've talked a little bit about, we've been bashing the Seahawks locker room the last couple of weeks. We talk about the Steelers locker room who's had a guy talk about a bike being stolen, James Harrison, that you're upset about him leaving when he's asked for his release 3 times. This locker room seems a little fragile to me. I don't know. But what if, I'm going to ask this, what do you do with this Steelers team if they actually lose to the Cleveland Browns?
It won't matter a lick of difference.
I disagree. I totally disagree.
The Browns are done.
The Browns,
they're done. If
they're not going to lose. That's the problem. They're not going to lose.
Yeah, I'm 99% certain you're right. But if that 1% happens, if they lose,
I bet on a fucking 2018 Chrysler that I don't own that they are not going to beat them. Okay, they're not going to win.
I'll be very interested to see how many people pick the Steelers next week in our playoff preview.
I'm picking the
No, you're not.
Browns.
I'm not letting you do that.
I'm not
letting
job.
This is one of my 10 games.
Come on.
Hear me out.
Giving this to me.
Hear me out. This is my thought. The one week where nobody thinks the Cleveland Browns have a chance to win is the week they win. That's all I'm gonna say.
You know, like when you win like a championship, and then like the other team just
quits. The Browns actually control most of that game against Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh does play bad teams badly.
Okay, first off, it was week 1 where everybody
the universe,
and second, come on, I want competition.
I think Mitch is crazy, but whatever.
You did pick the Browns 4 times, Kevin.
I got to pick 10 different games. You know how hard that is?
This shouldn't be one of them. This should be the one you stay away from the most. Oh, okay. I mean, it's another win for me. It works.
Congrats, Dylan.
All right. The next game, Carolina Panthers at the Atlanta Falcons.
This is a game. Interesting.
Carolina, if they win, and they get a couple things to happen, including the Rams losing, including the Vikings losing, they can get a bye. And the Saints losing. If Atlanta wins, they get in the playoffs. Simple as that. And Seattle obviously needs Atlanta to lose, and Carolina can just win and basically just carry their momentum of what they've had going into the playoffs, and most likely for a wild card seed, probably the 5th seed. Who do you guys think is going to win this game? This is obviously the biggest game of the weekend. This is the game that the most eyeballs will be on. It's Cam Newton, Matt Ryan. It's another great NFC South matchup. Who do you guys have?
I'm going to go with the Panthers. The Falcons have, this interesting opportunity. They kind of wet the bed against the Saints last week. This is an interesting matchup. They were put in a really hard position with the schedule to have these two games, the very last two games of the season, to try to get that wild card. I like what the Panthers bring. They're one of the more underrated teams in football. They do well. Cam Newton has played very well. I like when they use McCaffrey correctly. Their receiver targets, other than Funchess, is not great. They do have Greg Olsen as well, but they kind of lack in the depth there, but they're still very good. Their defense makes some pretty great plays that I like. The Falcons' offense just isn't able to be consistent enough for me to say for 60 minutes that they're going to be the better team against the Panthers, and I think that's the ultimate difference. I like some of the players from the Falcons' offense a little bit more, but with Steve Sarkisian as the offensive coordinator, they haven't been able to be consistent on the field for 60 minutes, and I think that'll be detrimental in this game for the Falcons. So I'm going to go with the Panthers here. It's a good one, and the advantage, if anybody's going to pick the Falcons here, is that the Falcons are at home week 17. So that is a key, but I'm going to go with the Panthers.
Yeah, I'm picking the Panthers here too. Obviously, I have some bias to that, but I think when you look at the Carolina Panthers teams that I don't think a lot of people want to play, I think it doesn't matter if they're 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd. They're going to be a very tough out in the NFC. Cam is on a roll. This defense is really tough. Ron Rivera is coaching very well. Yeah, I think that there's weaknesses on that. There's flaws with the receiving core in Carolina. But I think there's flaws. I think you can argue with anyone in the NFC there's flaws. So I don't see that being any different. Yeah, and I think Carolina will want a home game in one way, shape, or form. And I think, let's not forget the motivation behind the fact that their owner is a complete moron and they need some fan support behind them. So Carolina will win.
I'm going with the Atlanta Falcons. This is another one of my 10 games.
At least this one makes sense. Okay, at least this one.
Atlanta's playing at home. I originally thought a couple weeks ago Atlanta would win this game, so I'm just sticking with that gut feeling. They have too much to play for. This playoffs on the line. I know Atlanta usually squanders those opportunities, but they played them close the first time. They won the game at home against the Saints. They lost it on the road. I think they do the same thing with the Panthers. They lose on the road, which they already did. They're going to win this game. And I think Julio is a big reason why. I think he has a big game here. And I think that the defense, like it did last week, holds them in it enough. But I think Matt Ryan will be able to make a couple of plays against this secondary that I think has given up some plays to some teams in the past this season. And I just overall, I wasn't overly impressed with the Carolina Panthers team last week against the Bucs, where it took the last miraculous effort from Cam Newton to get that victory. So I think Atlanta's going to win this game. Just the slightly more desperate team to make it win, and you're in controlling your own destiny against you're probably in already, but you might just get an extra seeding spot. Who cares? So I'm going to go with Atlanta here as one of my 10 games.
Okay.
The next one. Cincinnati Bengals at the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens, they're in the playoffs, I believe. I think they're pretty much confirmed.
No, they're not, actually.
No?
No, they're not. They must have. They win, they're in.
Okay, if the Titans or the Chargers lose, they're in, right?
Yes.
If Buffalo or Tennessee loses, they are in. And Baltimore wins. First, if Baltimore wins, they're in. They beat Cincinnati, they're in. Buffalo and Tennessee loses. If they do not win, they're in as well. So they're in control of their own destiny.
Okay. Yeah, so they're in control of their own destiny. But really, so they have to win this game, period, right?
They do have to win this,
or hope for some help, right?
Yes, they need. Yes, if they lose, they need help.
For the Ravens, we're talking about.
Yes,
they'll need one loss.
They
Who do you guys have winning this game?
I got the Ravens. The Bengals are too inconsistent. They're not exactly a team that lights it up. They have nothing to play for. The Ravens have everything to play for. They're not exactly 100% lock. While I still think they'll make the playoffs, even if they lose, they need to make this. We need to get this one right under their belts to get it done with. Also, I think we should go to comments after this recap thing. But I think the Ravens just need to get it done. They played a little bit of a sloppy game against the Colts last week. Joe Flacco's kind of a part of that issue, but against the Bengals, I don't see any flavor. I don't see any fire. I know this is Lewis's last game as a head coach of the Bengals, so maybe that has something to do with it and trying to get him a win going out. But I think the Ravens just need this a little more. So going Ravens.
Yeah, I'm going Ravens here too, although the Bengals, I think, will be playing with some fire. I think the Ravens are in a very interesting position where I don't know what to really make of them. I think I can see them be one and done, but they're also in an interesting matchup in the first round where I could also see them winning. So, but I think their flawed Ravens team will win this game and be in the playoffs.
I'm going with the Cincinnati Bengals.
You're just giving this away.
They spoiled the Detroit Lions last week. They're going to try and spoil their rival this week in the Baltimore Ravens. They're going to be playing for their coach, Marv Lewis, his last game potentially as a Bengals coach. Andy Dalton, AJ Green against the Ravens. Historically, amazing games. Look out for AJ Green to have an amazing game if the Bengals are going to win this one. I don't know. I think the Ravens might be sleeping on the wheel a little bit this week. And the Ravens just aren't as good as people want to think. Like, they're just not good. They barely beat the Colts, guys. They barely beat the Colts.
I don't think anybody thinks they're that good, but
I don't think it's a stretch that the Bengals can beat them.
But the Browns, on the other hand. Think of the children. Think of the children.
One of my 10 that – where am I right now? Okay.
How many have there?
Colts. I have –
your voice is fucked up again.
Okay. Fuck.
I don't understand how this happens. Like, it just continuously happens.
It's Roger Goodell. I have the Texans. I have the Giants. I have the Eagles, the Brownies, the Falcons, the Bengals. That's where we're at right now.
So you have six different right now. Yeah, 4 more. You're gonna get one. You're probably gonna know one there, so I'll keep it at 7. But, okay, comment section. I think we're about halfway through, so we'll go to the comment section for everybody here. Chiefs fan says sub. Deshaun says sub. Mitch. I don't know how me and Kev are getting excluded.
He always does that. What's up, Deshaun?
I know. He also says Seattle's getting into the playoffs. We'll talk about Seattle in a minute. Chiefs says Chiefs versus Eagles, Super Bowl 52. Now, of all 12 teams, I would probably say that's the least likeliest matchup we'll see. I got a feeling that'll be one of the least likeliest matchups.
You must be AC that's saying that. The least likeliest matchup is
the Ravens and
the Ravens versus
Seahawks.
The Seahawks.
Yeah,
which would probably be the most.
Rob says % chance Alex Smith is traded to the Browns this offseason. I'm going to go 0, but
I'm not actually. I'm actually thinking that might be
to the Browns.
To the Browns. That's where my questioning is there.
John Dorsey's the GM, former
10%.
I'm going to go 25. I think there's a likelihood of that. John Dorsey's a former KC GM, now GM of the Browns. I see that as a possible destination.
Can the Browns just get a good quarterback?
Please.
He's a pretty decent quarterback.
Yeah, he's a decent quarterback. But they've had those type of players before.
They'll still go 0-16.
Probably.
But
I think if the Browns won like 2 games, they would they would throw a parade for having a successful season.
Well, they're going to throw a parade if they go 0-16. So
yeah, like they would have a parade for the opposite.
Adderall is actually supporting that. So there you go. Bodo says, "What the hell? Kevil's in a home." Yes, Kev, you're at your house.
I'm at my house often.
He's not at Tim Hortons, and you can see his co-host there, the shadow of Kev.
Yeah, you see her at your house often, but when we film, it's never at your house. It's never.
It's Jerry Joe. This is Jerry. He's right here. Hello, Bojo. It's nice to hear from you. Can we talk about Jerry Jones?
Wait a minute. You haven't. No, I'm kidding. Jeremy says, "Wow, it's 1:17 in the morning." Jeremy says, and it's now 2:07.
Yeah, we do these too late, but you can blame that on Dilly Vanilli and also Kevin Olenek.
I was ready today for 9 o'clock. It was Kev today. And by the way, this is the last week we're doing
today. It was Kev.
Well, wait. How are we doing playoff picks next week?
We're doing it on Tuesday.
We're doing Tuesdays now?
We're doing Tuesday because Sports Fury is coming on.
Oh, the next week. But is it?
We don't know about the week after that.
Well, yeah. Are we doing a complete playoff predictions next week?
Well, yeah,
but we do a weekly preview, you goofball.
What have you been up to?
Fucking hell. You're over here.
You're over here.
And you're over there. You got a shadow behind you.
Hi, shadow.
I can film during the day, so whatever.
I could also maybe film during the day if you tell me what we're doing.
That's up to Mitch. BLV should hold a Black Monday show, says Rob, for all the firing the head coaches.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll have the preacher for that one.
Hallelujah.
Or the Bono says, fuck Harrison, he's an asshole. Well, this asshole was on your team for like a good amount of stretch. One of your best players. I don't know. I don't know. Percent chance, Chiefs fan says, percent chance 49ers will go 16-0 next year.
0?
1 million. No,
point 1.
Jimmy G keeps doing it, baby.
He's got 2 Super Bowls and never lost. Fact.
He's incredible. Fact. Yeah, because when you sent it out the first time, you said he won 2 Super Bowls. I was like, whoa. He has 2 Super Bowls. He didn't play in these games.
It's like Blake Bortles facts on Twitter. Tom Brady and Blake Bortles combined have 5 Super Bowl rings.
Rob says, I think the Lions retain Caldwell for one more year. As we said earlier, yes, we agree.
That would be such an unbelievable error.
I agree with Rob. I think they'll keep
What?
Keeping Caldwell would be an unbelievable error.
I could see them doing it. I just think that would be the bad move. I think you need to get rid of him.
Fact or fiction, Russell Wilson MVP.
Fiction.
Even if he gets in, he's not.
He'll probably be 5th on the list.
I have never had Russell Wilson in the MVP conversation. Maybe for a little brief moment, but I've never had it. I think he's got too many interceptions.
Actually, you did bring this up quite a bit, yes.
I did.
VLV NHL says 3 legends. Yes, thank you. Thank you, John.
Hi, John.
Let's see here.
Rest in peace, Johnny Bauer, by the way. Johnny Bauer is one of the greatest goalies who have ever lived, Dylan. You need to look him up.
Thank you. I saw the video. I saw it was up there. I just don't know who that is.
He played when the goalies didn't have masks.
That would suck.
Yeah.
That would really suck. God. BLV NHL, they're talking about the what they're going to do for the Winter Classic. You sub to those guys, by the way. Sub to them.
Oh, I should figure out what we're doing for the Winter Classic. So I'll have to be on both if we're doing Black Monday.
He's going to do a live reaction and recap of the Winter Classic. So there you go.
This Winter Classic will be a dud.
Who's playing?
It's the Rangers and the Buffalo Sabres.
That's terrible.
That is the worst Winter Classic I have ever heard in my life. And also, by the way, while we're on this rant, Canada and U.S. at World Junior game is going to be an outdoor game too.
They should do that instead. Just saying.
Do what?
The World Juniors.
It'll be an outdoor game in Buffalo as well.
Yeah, they should do a reaction to that instead.
Probably, I think they're planning to do that anyway.
Oh, okay.
I think that's probably going to happen. But
I'm just saying.
Go Stars! Okay. Jeremy Hansen says, guys, this is such a random time to do the stream.
Okay, Jeremy, if you don't want to be up, go to bed. Watch the stream after.
Yeah.
Like
we're not keeping you awake. We're not David Letterman.
Like, bro.
You can still record David Letterman.
Bro, I don't know if you know how this works. Okay?
These don't delete.
Like, you can come
they're
back.
forever. They're forever.
I know that we're really addictive, but
Yes, we are.
Including the shadow.
Yes.
Yes. Deshaun says Josh Rosen stated that if he gets drafted by the Cleveland Brownies, he's going to be back to UCLA for a year.
Can you do that after you say that you're getting drafted? You want to be in the draft? You can't do that though, can you? Like,
I don't know if he can.
I don't think there's a rule that.
I don't think there's a rule.
But he never declared though. He hasn't declared yet.
Wouldn't people in the past have done that by now though? Like people that have held out, been like, oh, I'll just go back.
This is the same thing with like what Eli Manning and John Elway did.
Yeah, but they demanded to be traded.
Yeah, and that's probably what he'll want. That's probably what he'll want to do if he goes to the Browns.
I don't think the Browns
he hasn't declared yet. That's the thing.
Okay, I don't even think Rose is going to be a number 1 pick. So I don't even think he's going to be in the top 5.
With the Browns 2 picks, I don't know if that might not be true.
Now, one of them has to be a quarterback. I'm not sure if
I'm thinking.
Well, there's a guy named Baker Mayfield out there.
Yeah. But I'm not sure if it's him.
I would like if Baker went to the Jets. I think that would be a good fit. That's just me.
Well, the Browns are going to completely screw this up.
I know they.
No matter who they pick, you could think he's the greatest player ever. He'll be a bust.
He'll be a bust.
Okay, for his career, I don't want this to happen. But in terms of who they should get Saquon Barkley. That's just one of the people they should get. Let's see.
I just don't think Rose is going to be in the top 5. Like even if there was 2.
Kev, there's also 5 more months before that draft happens. A lot of draft stock can go differently before that.
Oh, for sure, but I don't. From what I'm hearing, Rosen's not in the top 5.
We'll see. I mean, he could have a good combine. I don't think he's the only. Him and Baker are like the only 2 quarterbacks I can see with the potential. You know what I mean? Like at least see something in them. BLV NHL says Kev Shadow Watch. Yes, I've been watching it for a while.
Shadow. And actually, I've decided that the Shadow will be making a couple picks as well.
Okay, nice. Jeremy said that the MVP video is extremely biased towards Brady. I don't know why he's hating today. Let's see. Rob says Jay Gruden's keeping his job. He might. He might. I don't know. Let's see. Bodo said that was a dumb Jerry. Kev. He did not like it.
Well, Jerry is dumb. Sorry.
He did not like it.
Very dumb, Jerry. I'm a dumb person.
Rob says we should do the NFL recap show after the 1 p.m. Pacific games end. You mean like? I'm confused what that means.
Oh, that means that all the games end at that time, like at 4:30.
Not all the games do.
There's no Sunday night game.
4:30 your time. Yes.
There's no Sunday night game.
Yeah.
He said Pacific time.
But he said after the 1. Okay.
1 o'clock games, as in when it starts.
Yeah. I was confusing. I was
Yeah.
confused. I read that correctly. Yeah, probably. If we have time, it depends. New Year's Eve is kind of.
I'm fine for New Year's Eve up until like 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Like.
Yeah. I don't have any friends, so I probably would be doing. Shadow. There'll be Shadow.
It's called New Year's Eve for a reason.
Well, you celebrate New Year's Eve.
It takes place.
I have to be up for like Winter Classic and stuff.
Fuck you, Kev. You don't have to join.
No, I said I'm not gonna.
Fuck you.
I'm not gonna be drunk.
Get drunk.
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine? Adios, Hugh. After the Browns finish 0-16, actually, it looks like they're going to keep Hugh Jackson.
Hugh is the worst. Is the worst coach I've ever seen in my life.
Or Hugh.
Everybody thinks he's good, but he's not. Stop. He's terrible.
Who thinks he's good?
Everybody.
Nobody thinks who?
Bro, nobody critiques him. Name one person that's critiqued him other than me.
Well, because what have you got to critique?
They're 0-15.
Disaster.
Terrible.
We've all thought he sucks.
I don't think Hugh's back next year, though.
I think he is.
I don't.
But it's magical how he continues to toy with the media as if he is this amazing coach. Like, it's just magical to me. I want to go to a school where Hugh teaches me these things.
I don't know why you think you're the only person here that doesn't think or thinks that he's a bad coach.
I've never heard you say that he was a bad coach once.
I have, but okay.
I'd like to see him in a coordinator position. I just don't think he's a head coach.
Coordinator may be fine, but like, I just don't get why people aren't like Hugh Jackson's bad. They just don't care.
It's just because the Browns are so bad. Like, there's like 50 million problems. Let's see here. Looking for it. Looking for some other ones. Oh, Jeremy Hansen says Pats Steelers AFC Championship and Vikings Rams NFC Championship.
I could easily see that.
I could see that as well. Jeremy says, don't spoil my predictions video. Jeremy says, what happened to WWE?
You're going to end up picking the exact same thing as me anyways.
It's going to be the Patriots and the Jaguars and the Vikings and the Panthers. That'll be the one. I already predicted it.
Is that yours or mine?
No, that's yours.
Oh.
It's yours. I can't be shouting this out. I can't pick this shit out.
62nd best quarterback.
He's the 54th. I don't know. Jeremy's actually. I gotta figure out what the Pro Football Focus ranks him. I need to check that out in a minute.
I don't know if they do it like that though. I think they only do it by starting quarterback.
Oh, then he can't. Yeah, you're right. Jeremy. Yeah, because they would have not that.
Des Bryant is 45th, but that's because there's more than one starting receiver though.
Yeah, that sucks because they might not have enough data for other guys. Jeremy says, what happened to WWE on this channel? We stopped.
We no longer do that. Sorry. Maybe in the future if it gets any better, but what I've seen recently, it is not. So.
And BLV NHL did say that they are also doing the USA Canada outdoor thing. So.
And hey, you never know. Maybe we'll do like a live watch of WrestleMania. Something like that. Just for old time's sake.
Old time's sake. I'm not going, so
yeah,
maybe. And Bobby says, "Will the Lions play the starters against the Packs yes. And will they win?" Yes and yes. And Deshaun says Lamar Jackson will be in the top 10. I don't think he will be. I don't think many.
No, but I think he could if he goes to the right place. I think he could be successful.
Your audio's fucked up again. Yeah, I think he can be successful. I just don't think he'll be the top 10 pick. He needs to be in the right system. I agree with that. And that is comments. I'm going to charge my computer, so we'll go to the next game here in just a second.
It only happens on Google. I'm starting to think it's Google Hangouts. Maybe. Okay, what is Dylan doing? Did he just leave? Did he just concede defeat?
Maybe he did.
He knows how good my picks are, and he just conceded defeat.
Your picks are trash.
Okay, let's get to the next game. It's the Buffalo Bills at the Miami Dolphins in this game where the Buffalo Bills must win to even have a shot. What they also need is for the Chargers to lose and the Titans to lose, and the Buffalo Bills will get in the playoffs. Who do you guys have winning?
The Bills could be the last team in the NFL to make the playoffs in the 21st century. They are the only team to not make it here in the 21st century. Their last playoff appearance was 1999. So could they join this illustrious group? No. But they will win this game. The Dolphins are the Dolphins. Cutler is just, I don't know. He's just a weird phenomenon in the world of football. And the Bills, they're gonna want to win. They're gonna want to try at least to get in that playoff position because the Titans might lose, the Chargers might get upset, and you never know in the NFL. So they have to do it. They have to get this win. I'm gonna go with the Bills. They just have a little bit more to go for, and the Dolphins are not that good.
I'm going to take the Bills here. I'm not confident about this one. Just feel like, there were times last week that Bills-Patriots game that in the first half, like, Bills team has some potential. But then they get the Calvin Benjamin call against them, and they go into the toilet. They don't respond. I do think that I think Kenyon Drink is going to have a really big game. I think Miami will want to go out in a big thing. I think they'll play spoiler. I think Buffalo will find a way to shoot themselves in the foot. Will be shooting themselves often in the foot. Yes, Miami is terrible, but I'm just not confident in Buffalo to win an important game.
So you're picking the Dolphins? I'm confused.
I feels like I'm picking the Dolphins, but I have a feeling that the Bills are going to accidentally win this game.
How do you accidentally win a football game?
Well, you accidentally win it when you play the Dolphins. But I do think
I'm going with the Miami Dolphins. They're playing at home. It's a chance to beat a rival, to kick them out of the playoffs. Miami Dolphins are going to win this game. I know the AFC East, and this is how it works. When there's two teams like the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills, whichever one's at home wins the game. Miami Dolphins are number one. They're going to take this one. Jay Cuddy is going to be playing for more than he's been playing for in years. He's going to be playing for the chance to prove to NFL owners across the league that he can still play this game. Jarvis Landry is going to be playing for a contract. Their coach is going to be playing for the ability to coach. The Buffalo Bills are going to be rattled from that Benjamin touchdown still. And they're the Buffalo Bills. They haven't been to the playoffs since 1999. They're not going to make the playoffs, and it won't start now. Dolphins.
Why?
There's a legitimate argument to pick the Dolphins in this one, actually.
Since when did the Dolphins start becoming good? Dad?
Dolphins at home, baby. They beat the Patriots. All right.
How was their Super Bowl?
The next game, the New Orleans Saints at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is actually an interesting game. The Saints have to win this game to secure a third seed. If they lose, they could potentially drop as far as the 5 seed.
Yep.
They will still make the playoffs. But if the Panthers win and they lose, then they're probably dropping. So this is an important game for the Saints. They're going to have to play and they're going to have to ball out. And I think the Saints have been had a strong rebound performance after kind of a rough game against the Jets. They still won the game against the Jets. It's kind of a little rough one, though. They had a bounce-back performance, especially defensively against the Atlanta Falcons. They proved who was the better team on their home field. This one is in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has been playing better football, especially Jameis Winston as of late. But Jameis Winston and the Buccaneers, they just have a lot of issues. I think the coach is definitely gone. Jameis is just freaking out. Like, he looks like he's just in it almost is like a reality TV show. He just freaks out. Like, I don't know what it is. But the Buccaneers seem to be a mess.
Use Des Bryant. Can you imagine?
Oh yeah, that would be great.
That'd be fun.
That would be so exciting though. They would have to do like a T.O. and Chad Johnson offseason special with like Jameis and Mike Evans and Des Bryant. That would be
I would watch that. I would definitely watch that.
and John Gruden back in the fold.
I don't like bubble screens.
Anyways, who are you guys picking?
I gotta go with the Saints. By the way, is my Jameis Winston bust thing still a thing? I don't know. Saints, I think are gonna win this game. The Bucs tried and almost won against the Panthers, but they weren't able to be successful. The Saints went out there and played some really, really good defense last week against the Falcons. The Falcons had it on the Saints 5-yard line twice and weren't able to score a single point. They were able to capitalize on some long plays. The Ted Ginn touchdown, that was like 56 yards. The Saints have fallen a little bit in their stock, not too much, not drastic. They still could be a contender in the NFC, but still, I think against the Bucs, I think they'll get the job done. They'll be 4-12. Dirk Koetter is probably going to get fired, and the Saints will be the winners, which is weird. I predicted Koetter to be coach of the year, but yeah, Saints are going to win this one.
Picking the Saints as the Buccaneers prepare to usher in John Gruden again. I think the NFC South is going to be really interesting next year. It might be the best division in football next year. I think you can make that legitimate argument.
It is this year.
Well, it'll be next year too, because I think the Bucs will be a better team overall.
I'm going to say that the NFC West is going to be the best.
It'll be the second best.
And NFC has, but the NFC South has 3 teams. The NFC West only has 2.
The NFC
That's
West
the Rams and the
3.
49ers,
and
Seahawks,
and the Rams.
Seahawks,
No.
Cardinals.
Yes, not Continue.
No, but I had
NFC North.
I had high expectations of the Bucs this year. Obviously disappointing for a number of different reasons. I think we all had high expectations. But I think once Gruden gets in there, I think he'll bring in some stability, which I think will help. And I think he'll help Jameis. He'll calm Jameis down. And I think Mike Evans will be better for it. So I'm looking forward to what the Bucs are next year. But this year, unfortunately, no.
The Saints, they're going to go marches into the playoffs. They're going to win this game. I'm not going with the Bucs. This isn't one of my 10 games. The Saints got to win this game. I think it's important. I think they know, and Sean Payton knows, Drew Brees knows. Playoff football is a different level. They're going to be prepared, and the Bucs are just too much of a mess of a team for me to rely on them to win this game for me in my 10-game comeback. So I'm going to go with the Saints here to pick up this victory. It might be close, but I'm going to go with the Saints.
Okay.
The next game is one of the other biggest games of the weekend. The Jacksonville Jaguars play the Tennessee Titans. The Titans, a very, very, very close game against the Rams. Yeah. Very close. Good game. And it was closer than I expected. Jacksonville Jaguars got their ass beat and handed to them by the great Jimmy Garoppolo, Joe Montana, whatever you want to call them. The Jacksonville Jaguars got beat by the 49ers in a game that it mattered, but I mean, like, if they would have won that game and a couple other things and the Steelers would have lost this week like they're obviously going to do to the Cleveland Browns, then the Jacksonville Jaguars could have had the bye. But anyways, that's not happening. The Jaguars are just playing, and it's going to be interesting to see how the Jaguars play this one because like Kevel said earlier in this video, if the Jaguars win, the Titans are probably out, but if the Titans win, the Jaguars play them again. So what do they do in this situation? What do you guys think is going to happen?
You might have just changed my pick. Dang, that is a hard one to consider. DeMarco Murray suffered a third-degree MCL tear, which, by the way, I didn't even know you could classify tears of the MCL by degrees. I've never heard of that. But he insists he's going to play this week, which is crazy. I'm going to go with the Jags. That was a very split decision. But I'm going to go with the Jags because the Titans beat the Jaguars early on in the season. But I think the Jags really don't want to play this. It might be like a trap game in the playoffs, considering the Jags lost last week. If they lose here, they'll be 10-6. Maybe their confidence gets down a little bit. They didn't say they were going to rest anybody. And I know that they got the third seed clinched. They're not going to lose that third seed even if they lose here. But I think that they need to win this game to give themselves a little bit of a confidence booster and, 11-5 prove themselves to be a little bit more fearsome than other teams. Like they maybe other than what we thought this week. So it'll be interesting, but I'm going to go with the Jags because they probably don't want. I don't know if they want to play the Titans.
I'm going to pick the Titans. I think that this Jags team peaked. Everyone got excited. I got excited.
No, you didn't. You picked the Browns over the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, there's this other shoe to drop with the Jags. I don't know if they're going to win their first round game. I don't know if they can beat the Titans, and I don't know if they end up playing the Chargers, they can beat the Chargers. I think that there's some vulnerabilities on this team. I think there's some vulnerabilities on this defense, specifically at linebacker. I don't think that they're as good there as people give them credit for or think. I think, I have been higher on Blake Bortles than you guys have been, but I do think at some point the weakness there is going to stumble. I think Fournette has been at times. Fournette has been great, but there's also been times that I think Fournette has at best been. I think you can grade him as inconsistent in a lot of ways, and I just think that the Titans are a feisty little team that plays close games, and sometimes they look awful, but they find a way to somehow do it. They fought with the Rams, even though everyone was thinking that was a blowout, and I think the Titans are going to walk in here, and I think they're going to beat the Jags. I'm picking the Titans.
Yeah, this is an interesting game. If I was legitimately picking this game, I really don't know where I would go. Regardless, Dylan picked the Jags. I'm going with the Titans. This is one of my 10 games. I think for the Titans to win this game has to be a big Derrick Henry and Delaney Walker game. I think those two guys have to have successful games for them to win. I think this game will end up being a defensive battle. I think that the bad Blake Bortles will have 2 weeks in a row of the bad Blake Bortles. And I think that, again, will show its head. And I think teams from this point on start to look at what the 49ers did and start to implement that against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I think the Titans are the start of that. And I don't disagree with what Kev said. I have drastically changed what I thought about the Jaguars. At one point, I thought the Jaguars were a team that could be a sneaky team to knock off my Patriots. But after watching them last week, I don't see how they could do that. So I'm going with the Titans.
Back to that Seahawks game, and you watch how those receivers.
I did consider that more of a fluke, but
I didn't, because if you watch, there were some real communication issues between the linebackers and the secondary. Pointed out several times.
It was a one-time thing, though, Kev. So I needed to see it more than one time. And I needed to see it against a team as bad as the 49ers.
Okay.
I'm going with the Titans.
You picked 8 differently. You got 2 more to go in 4 games.
Yep. The next game is the Kansas City Chiefs at the Denver Broncos. Patrick Mahomes starting his first game ever. Chiefs have wrapped it up. They don't really care. They're the 4th seed in the AFC, and it doesn't matter. The Denver Broncos, on the other hand, playing in Denver, maybe a little bit to fight for. What do you guys think? Who do you have winning this game?
I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I think Patrick Mahomes can get this victory. I think this is just a confidence boost for him. If anything, that's the one thing I'm looking forward in this game. Not looking forward to anything else. The Chiefs don't really need to play this game very hard. And the Broncos just haven't fought with any intensity, like with any passion this year. And it's confused me a lot to see this 5-10 team be the 5-10 team it is. And I think with Mahomes, I mean, he wants to prove something out there that he's the QB of the future. That's why the Chiefs drafted him. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs based on the play of Mahomes.
I'm going with the Chiefs here as well. I think Mahomes will play well. I think Kareem Hunt will get himself ready. I think Hunt will have a good game. And I think this is definitely
going to play.
Who?
Hunt.
I think if he does, he'll have a good first half, get his reps in, and be ready. I think this is Vance Joseph's last game, and I wonder if this is John Elway's last game.
No.
Which I think is very sad. Another error. I do think that that's a guy that needs to go. I know that he has this legacy thing all wrapped up in Denver, and he's a god, but he's also produced an unmitigated disaster of a football team, specifically at quarterback. And quite frankly, he's lucky he has a Super Bowl. I'm
going with the Broncos. This is one of my 10. I have no idea who's going to win this game. So that based on that fact, I'm going with the Broncos. It's in Denver. I have no idea who's playing with the Chiefs for the Chiefs. Yeah, I like Patrick Mahomes, and I'd probably rather, if I didn't have to pick 10 different games, I'd probably pick them just on the fact that I like Patrick Mahomes and would want to cheer for him. But anyways, I'm going to go with the Broncos, the home team at Mile High, against a team that doesn't care and is looking ahead to a wild card game. So I'm going to go with the Broncos. The next game is the San Francisco 49ers at the Los Angeles Rams. 3 games left on the schedule, and this is actually a pretty interesting one. I think this is the Rams are playing, really. I don't think many players will be playing. Todd Gurley, Jared Goff, I don't think they're really playing in this game. But I think it's interesting for the future because I think this is a rivalry that we'll be seeing a lot of in the next few years. I think Jimmy Garoppolo, Kyle Shanahan versus Sean McVay and Jared Goff, and Todd Gurley sprinkled in there. This will be a big rivalry for years to come, in my opinion, in the NFC. And I'm looking forward to it. But this won't be the first real matchup that they have. Who do you guys have winning this game? San Fran on the road against the Rams. And the Rams do actually, it's surprising because the Rams, if they lose this game, they do have something to lose.
They would go from probably the 3 seed to maybe the 4th seed.
Mm-hmm.
That would tell you. As I said yesterday as well, I think this will be a good matchup going forward in the next couple of years. Not this week, though. I'm going to go with the 49ers just because the Rams have got it locked up. Sean McVay has said that he's going to rest players. The 49ers have looked very well with Jimmy G. I think he's going to have another really good game. The Rams aren't really going to care about this one too much. They'll know kind of where the standings are. I know the Saints are going to be playing at the same time, so maybe they'll play players in the first half and see how it goes from there. But I think Jimmy G is going to lead the 49ers to a nice little confidence boost and get them up to 6-10 by the end of the year. So I'm going to go with the 49ers.
I think Gurley will play because I think he's got a shot at MVP, so they may want to bump up his stats a bit. But I don't expect a lot. It's hard to believe that the 49ers are going to streak their way right through, but I kind of have a hunch that they're going to win this game. They played them tough last time. It was that crazy 41-39 game with the weird Michigan Wolverine jerseys. That was one of the fun Thursday night games that we watched this year. And that was Brian Hoyer. I think the Rams need to. I think it's an interesting decision to rest people. I think it's a mistake, in my opinion. I think that they need to. I think they should be playing this really tough and make sure that they're ready for their next round, whoever they're playing, because whoever they are playing is an experienced football team. And I think they need to be ready for that.
You don't want to play the Seattle Seahawks in the playoffs.
Hold on. I'm talking Seahawks, Falcons, Panthers have playoff experience with Cam. They've been to the Super Bowl, and you got New Orleans with playoff experience.
Yeah,
so
they won't play New Orleans probably.
You've got 4 potential teams that you have that have some sort of playoff success behind them,
and 3 of those teams have swagger, and one of those teams doesn't. So.
But you. Oh, stop. But, one of those – but playing – my point is the Rams need to go into this game sharp. And I think resting is an error.
I'm going with Jimmy G and the 49ers.
The differences. Okay.
Can't go against my guy Jimmy G after what I saw against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And if you guys remember that amazing game that these two played – earlier in the season, the 49ers were a lot worse football team at that point in time, and this is against the Rams without a lot of starters. So I think Kyle Shanahan, this is their Super Bowl for the 49ers, I think. I think they really want to win this game because it's against the Rams, who, like I said, this is going to be a rivalry. So I have the 49ers winning this game with the Rams resting up. I would pick the Rams if this was a straight-up game, but I'm going to go with the 49ers here. The next game is the Oakland Raiders at the Los Angeles Chargers. Who do you guys have winning and why?
For this game, I'm going to go with the Chargers. The Raiders have not looked very good. They've been pretty and the Chargers are looking for that playoff spot. If they win and the Titans lose, they're in the playoffs. Am I correct in that assessment? So the Chargers – they want to get that playoff spot. I know Mitch has been saying they're going to get in the playoffs. They have a chance. And I think it could happen. Based on my picks, it will happen. But we'll see. I think it'll be an interesting matchup for the Chargers. They want to go out there and fight, and the Raiders don't have anything to fight for. So I got to go with Phillip Rivers and the Chargers.
Chargers win if the Chargers win, Titans lose, Buffalo loss, they're in the playoffs. Chargers win, Titans lose, and Baltimore wins, they're in the playoffs. Chargers tie, Tennessee loss, Buffalo loss. They're in the playoffs. Picking the Chargers here, I've said this for a long time, just haven't been enamored with this Oakland Raider team. Just think that they were overrated from the beginning. I think that's shown to be mostly correct this year. Really interested to see what they do with Jack Del Rio, because typically they fire coaches like they change socks in Oakland. But that'll be interesting. I think would be an error to hire Jack Del Rio. But that's Oakland's monkey, not mine. And I think the Chargers, if they get in the playoffs, I think it'll be very interesting to see what happens. One way or the other. They've been a little bit inconsistent at the end of the year, though, but I do think that they'll win this game. Oh, God.
So loud.
The Oakland Raiders. I'm picking the Oakland Raiders.
What?
I'm pulling the Russo swerve at the end of the season. The Oakland Raiders are going to win this game.
Okay, so
I have to pick 10 different games.
You can't.
The Oakland Raiders are going to win this game. Do you know why? I've seen them play. Okay, their defense is playing a lot better.
Did you even watch the game against the Eagles, bro?
Exactly. They played very competitive. That was in Philadelphia. The Chargers are slipping. They only won by 7 points against a terrible Jets team last week. I think that their defense sure is playing well, but their offense without Hunter Henry, Melvin Gordon is hurt. I think they're really hurt, really banged up, and the Chargers lose these games. As much as I love the Chargers, I really hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong.
Russo swerve.
I really hope I'm wrong here. But what I've seen from the Chargers recently and what these injuries tell me, the Raiders are going to win this game. And the Chargers will probably lose on a game-winning field goal.
Okay, that's true. But whose math is this?
In the last game, and that means I've picked my 10 games. The Arizona Cardinals at the Seattle Seahawks. I will say it now for Kevin. I am picking the Seattle Seahawks to win this game, but according to my predictions, they will not make the playoffs. So there you go. Seattle will win the game. They'll fight hard. Russell Wilson at home. Seattle, too much to play for, and I think Stanton is absolutely terrible. I do want to say this because Kev will talk about the game and such. I just want to say this about Arians. I think if the Cardinals let go of him, I think they are making a mistake because I think he's a guy and a coach that could go somewhere else and easily perform well. Like if I was the Cowboys, I'd go get Arians. If I was the Bengals, I would get Arians. I think there's a number of teams with some issues in their locker room that could pick up a guy like Bruce Arians, and I think he would bring in a different type of coaching mentality to the team that would really help a team out. And I think that looking at the type of talent, he's had to lose his best player. He lost his quarterback. Some things happened along the stretch, and he's still gotten good play out of this team like last week. I think that the Cardinals, would be making a mistake to get rid of Arians. But nonetheless, I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks.
Well, Mitch picked 10 different games. He can make it 11. I'm picking the Cardinals to win this game against the Seattle Seahawks.
I love it. Free win for me.
Okay, so let me explain. Bruce Arians knows that this is his Super Bowl this year. They are 7-8. They have not played very good. They have not played very consistent football. But he called CenturyLink home. It's his home, if you will. He wants to play this game with passion and force. This is his coup de grace. This is his Super Bowl. Okay? He wants to show that he is not going to be pummeled to the ground by the media, by the critics. He wants to get the upset of
Watch me roll my eyes about all of this, okay?
Mm-hmm. Of course you will. He wants to get that Super Bowl. This is his Super Bowl. You know what we talked about with the Dolphins and the Patriots? That was the Dolphins Super Bowl win. This is the Cardinals Super Bowl win. Knocking out their division rival of the playoffs. Even with the Falcons going on, I think the Cardinals can win this game. I seriously do. The Seahawks did not show the swagger last week. They won the game against the Cowboys, but they were able to capitalize on turnovers, and their offense looked atrocious at times. I think the Cardinals could make some big upsets, make some big adjustments, watch that tape last week, and then provide the upset that the NFL is looking for in Week 17. Because Week 17, you always know that there's going to be one or two big upsets. You're like, you didn't expect it. I think the Cardinals could provide it this week.
Well, that might be in Pittsburgh, and that might be somewhere else.
Against the Browns? Okay.
This will be a tough game.
Browns are winning.
But Arizona always plays in Seattle. They always play tough. Not going to dispute that. Not to dispute that Arizona thinks that this is a Super Bowl because they've put all their chips on beating the Seattle Seahawks over the years, and they just haven't really done it, not in a real meaningful way. But I just think I look at the Seahawks team. You can critique the offense, but the defense created turnovers, which led to points. I see that again with Drew Stanton. I think that as long as the Seahawks start off well, they play sharp football. I do think that they need to have a good 4 to 5 minute length drives to keep this defense rested for the game. They are bringing in Trey Madden, expect him to play fullback, which leads to one more player that if they get into the playoffs, we'll talk about that later. But I do think I do see it. I think that the Seattle Seahawks are going to be in the playoffs. I think we'll win this game.
And then lose in the first round.
We'll talk about the first round next week. But I think that the Seahawks...
Super Bowl, Seahawks, all the way. My prediction's still alive, Patriots Seahawks. Still alive.
We're coming for you, Mitch Maloney. Let me tell you something right now, Mitch Maloney. I think that they'll get it done. They cannot be cocky. They have to start very well. That's going to be the key of this game, is starting really well, and going to be very important for that.
Kev, yes. I have a question.
Yes. Do you have a question for me of the shadow?
I am in the box. Do we not want to see the Seahawks team in the playoffs?
I'll say that again. This is the thing is about. Mitch already talked about this. Playoffs are a different animal, and I think teams like the Rams, the Eagles, and the Vikings, I think, are in for an interesting experience because they're going to be considered favorites, playing teams that have more experience. I do think that is an interesting story going into the NFC playoffs. And I do think that you're giving the Seattle Seahawks, when you're saying, we're going to run for 200 yards, Bruce Arians says CenturyLink is Arizona Cardinals home field, and the Rams with the 30 dancing around. That's bulletin board material that teams get motivated by that stuff. I'll go back to...
I figured out your blueprint. I have figured out the Matt Morgan blueprint, okay? What you do here is you look at teams that are in higher contention in the NFC, and you pick flaws at them. You pick flaws that you think, oh, well, my stock has risen or is downgraded on these teams. And then when the Seattle Seahawks get a victory that helps them in the playoff run, well, this is a team you don't want to expect. You lower the expectations of other teams and then raise your own team's expectations when they play a good game. I figured that out. Listen, I just want to put that out there for everybody. If you've heard in this video, you said the Vikings are not as good as you think that they are. The Rams, let's not forget the Week 14 catastrophe. All that thing is going on here.
Again, I've already said it. I would rather play the Rams than the Saints because they beat us by 35 points. We're fired up on that team.
Every team is fired up in the playoffs.
I'm sure that I'm not going to dispute that.
Every 12 teams that make the playoffs are saying that they have a chance
historical perspective to you.
Every team is going to play the Super Bowl.
Stop talking.
No, that's not how this works.
You have the Cincinnati Bengals. The year that they played the Pittsburgh Steelers, they had home field. They were dancing around and jumped on the terrible towel. Remember that, and you watch America's game, and the Steelers kicked their ass for that.
Are you talking about the one where Burfitt almost killed Antonio Brown?
No, that was the 05 year, I believe.
Oh, we're talking about back in the day. Okay.
Yeah, back in the day.
Well, the Bengals have been
I have historical proof. The Patriots beat the Jets. I'll look it up.
The Bengals have been thugs for years, so the counter argument that I don't think the Rams are thugs. And the Rams,
it's not even about being thugs, Dylan. It's about celebrating and assuming something far too early. And
one team.
In giving team that extra motivation. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not. It's not even. You look at the Seahawks. You look at what's on the bottom end of that NFC with the Saints, the Panthers, the Falcons, and the Seahawks. All four of them have playoff experience, and I do think that will play in when we're talking about the NFC predictions. I think when you look at the Rams and the Eagles and the Vikings, they don't have that. I think that is something that is going to be an issue when we talk about the NFC playoffs. It doesn't matter. Dismiss it if you think the Seahawks or not, but I do think playoff experience does play into this.
It could.
Winning pedigree does play into this.
My argument is when you
I just want to say it's possible. The Patriots in 2010, I've lived through this, okay? The Patriots embarrassed the New York Jets 45-3. December the 6th, 2010. They then hosted the Jets in the divisional round as the number 1 seed and lost them 28-21.
My thing about with what Kev says,
I'm just backing Kev on that claim.
Is that the Seahawks are fired up. But when every team has that same go, everything gets washed away. We're in a new field here. With the 17,
then it's not a new field for the Seahawks. You're assuming
it's a new field for anybody. And then now you're looking at what the strength of the teams are compared to the Seahawks. With the Rams, I think they're a way stronger team than the Seahawks. They're a more complete team. We saw what happened before.
It's a one-game series.
It is a one-game
series.
Anything can happen. It's a one-game series. And the other thing that I think is also very important to point out here is I don't think that LA as a crowd is going to be that much of a home field advantage. I think we'll see a lot of 12s there.
Well, I mean, we were
a lot of Falcon fans there.
I don't know.
It would be a tougher home field game in New Orleans than it would be in LA.
Well, because they're playing in the LA Coliseum. It's like 100,000 people. They can never seat that many. My thing is that you just talk up this big game for the Seahawks, and I don't think that's going to come true.
It's like this. It's like Russell Wilson. We talked about this with Aaron Rodgers. We talk about this when there's teams with playoff pedigree. You want to knock them out. You don't want to see a team like that in the playoffs because they can, as bad as they've been this year and as disappointed as the Seahawks generally have been this year, they still can do some damage. You just don't discount teams that have playoff experience, that have been in these situations before.
Would you still rank the Seahawks as the
game before? By the way, they haven't. So they've been in a 6 seed position and walked into a road home game and they won. So they know what to do here.
Okay, in terms of power rankings, where would you have the Seahawks in the NFC?
Right now, probably 6.
So you're just open for the miracle.
They got a shot. What does Adam say every week? Week by week. Week by week.
I'm just saying, when it looks to the strength, anything can happen. If they mathematically make the playoffs, if they make the playoffs, anything can happen. I'm just saying, when you're talking about you don't want to take this, you want to be fired up. All these other teams are fired up, and the Seahawks have not looked. The Seahawks have not looked that great on the field this season.
In terms of preparation, in terms of knowing the playoff scenario, the Seahawks are going to have the edge over the Rams.
Well, and at the same time, you could say the Rams are unpredictable. The Seahawks have never seen the Rams in the playoff situation.
That's true. That could be very well true. But they've been into 2 Super Bowls, and they've won first-round games before, and they've won from a 6 seed.
And they have also lost first-round games before.
They actually have not lost a first round.
Actually, they lost the divisional round. I'm sorry, they lost the divisional round.
They have not won it. Yeah, they've not lost the wild card round.
I don't.
I'm not saying the Rams are like we're going to blow out the Rams, but I don't think it's that the Rams are blowing out.
See everybody here on this channel. I want to see everybody in the comments. When the playoffs come around, And that game, right before the game, Kev's going to have a lot
I'll also
of
say
confidence.
this, though, Kev. There's been teams that have never had any experience, walked into the playoffs, and won the Super Bowl.
That can happen. Yep.
Kev's going to have a lot of confidence right before his
Playoff
playoff
experience
game.
does play into this. Knowing how to win these type of games does play into.
Did Rich Gannon's experience over Tom Brady matter?
Well, you ask some people, there's a certain tuck rule that had a lot to do with that. But anyway.
Did Kurt Warner's experience over Tom Brady matter?
Kurt Warner was bagging groceries the year before he made the Super Bowl and he won it. Groceries.
They almost lost that game, though. 1 yard line.
Peyton Manning's experience over
Russell Wilson
Russell
take away
Wilson
Super
matter?
Bowl credentials because
Did Peyton Manning's experience over Russell Wilson matter?
No, it did not. But I think the Broncos severely underestimated the Seattle Seahawks. I think a lot of teams.
The Seattle Seahawks were the favorite.
Were they? I think the Broncos were the favorite.
Well, in my opinion, the Seahawks were the favorite.
I think a lot of other teams. Yeah, you're right. I mean,
I don't remember what the line was, but
yeah, I would have to look that up.
And by the way, the Seahawks didn't have that experience before that happened. So
they had. Yeah,
they had one day before that. They had that playoff win with Marshawn Lynch when they were a 7-9 team, and then they went to the Super Bowl the next year. So
no, they did not go to the Super Bowl the next. That was not the
year. It was the year after, but they didn't have that playoff experience.
They lost to the Falcons the year before.
They lost to the Falcons the year before. Yeah, but I mean, it's just those. But that's all I'm saying is veteran experience can play a factor. I'm not saying that. I mean, we'll talk about that when next week hits. But
you'll see Kevil's he will get very hyped next week. Can't
wait.
He'll get excited next week. I'll tell you that.
All right, let's get to some comments and let's leave.
Let's leave. We'll bounce them. You see. I gotta find the next comment. Okay, I found it.
By the way, Aaron Rodgers beat Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys last.
Didn't say experience doesn't beat new age. Never said that, but I just think you're giving your team too much credit.
Talent-wise, I would agree. I don't see the talent. It's all intangibles with Seattle. Yeah. I don't see the
talent-wise.
But look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's been some team. Look at even the 2010 Green Bay Packer team wasn't the most talented team.
Did you say the Steelers team was not talented?
That Super Bowl team wasn't super talented.
Oh, I thought you meant this season. I'm like,
no, the Steelers.
The 2010 Packers were actually really talented.
The defense actually was.
Their
really
defense
good.
was like top 3. And they just. I don't exactly remember what exactly happened for why they were in their spot that they were in. But if you look at that roster, it's very talented.
Mm-hmm. They were very good. Jeremy says Todd Bowles equals coach of the year. No. Apparently Bodo says James Harrison is a backstabber.
Yeah.
How many snaps did he have this year? I wouldn't want to play.
They cut him.
Well, people were saying that he wanted to get cut too, so I don't know.
Well, too bad. Treat him better.
Too bad.
If you want him on your team, treat him better.
Exactly. Everybody's loving the songs Mitch was playing there.
Thank you.
Old classic.
Maybe I'll do that every week.
No. Don't do that next week when we have people over.
Why not? That's part of the bottom line view.
No. Weird.
Embarrass you in front of your friends, Dilly?
My friends?
Yes, your friends.
They are friends of the channel. You know? Rob says Malarkey will start next season on the hot seat. I will say, though, it is where my dad, it's weird when my dad watches these videos. I can't watch it with him. Rob says adios Vance Joseph. Possibly.
Yeah, no, I think he's gone.
Rob says I take the Cardinals to upset and Bruce Arians retires a winner. He has health issues. The Cardinals are not going to fire him. I think he'll go get another head coaching job if he leaves.
For sure.
BLVA NHL says Kev is going to do another "Can I talk" moment. Yes, indeed.
That was a great moment. That's also in the Hall of Fame this year.
Yes, that was good.
Awards coming soon.
Garrett, who just subbed to the channel, by the way. Thank you very much, buddy. He's an Eagles fan. He is praying for a Foles miracle. And then he also says Rams are better than the Seahawks.
True.
Yes. Bobby says Lions record next year. Well,
no idea. They haven't had the draft, free agency, or anything. I have no idea.
We don't even know if Caldwell's gone for sure.
There's gonna be one team though that I think.
I think the worst they can do is 7-9. I think the best they can do is.
I think that's a team that a lot of coaches are gonna want to pick up though. That'll be one of those interesting.
Yeah, I think just because of Stafford, like 7-9 is about the worst you can do. Like 12-4 is probably the best. If they got like a few players, a good coach, and everything went right, maybe.
It'll be interesting. We still have to go through a lot to get there.
Like a lot. This is just saying like 1 year in advance.
It is an attractive job, I think.
Yes, I like what the Lions do. So there you go. He says playoffs ? Maybe.
I would say right now no, but we'll see.
They were a bubbling team when I had them this year, so they might be the same thing next year. And also Garrett, because he's new to the channel, says, "Why does Mitch like the Patriots and Penguins? What's the connection?"
God. Okay.
No, he didn't call you out for it. He just asked
for the 100th time. All right. First off, I'm from Vancouver, so I don't have an NFL team. I started to like the Patriots when I was very young. I don't even really remember why I started liking the Patriots, to be quite honest with you.
Because they won.
But my dad said that I was even a fan of them like since like the Bledsoe days, because I do remember like liking. I do remember playing them in one of the early Maddens I had, and then I kind of like would always, before I started really watching it, because I was really young, I'd be like, oh, what'd the Patriots do? What'd the Patriots do? Then eventually when I started watching it, you know, they were becoming very successful, and then I just started following the Patriots as a team. That was in the very early 2000s when I was about 5 or 6 years old. So yeah, then I just continued to like the Patriots, stuck with them the whole time, had no reason really to fall off from them, but they've been my team ever since. And then for the Penguins, my favorite hockey player of all time is Mario Lemieux. I used to play hockey, used to, love Mario Lemieux, and then they were terrible for a stretch of a period. Then I remember this guy in the World Juniors, and I like the Canucks too. So I kind of like, when I was young, I kind of bounced back and forth, but my favorite player was always Mario Lemieux. So I always had a soft spot for the Penguins. And I remember watching the World Juniors with this number 9 playing out there, Sidney Crosby. And then it just so happened the Penguins had the first overall pick. Then ever since they kind of got like, really, I liked the Penguins because of Mario, and I liked the Canucks, probably a little bit more the Canucks at that time because they had the whole like West Coast Express. They had Naslin. Jovo is like my favorite player on the Canucks. So then they got Sidney Crosby, and then even though they sucked for the first couple of years with Crosby, I started to be more of a Penguins fan at that point. Then they started to build a team, and I've just stuck with those teams ever since. So that's my stories with those teams. If you guys would like to ask these guys how they became fans of their teams, go right ahead.
It's never been asked of us. It's always been you.
Jeremy likes to say I'm a Golden State fan. No, I hate Golden State.
When did you?
Yeah, I can actually confirm that because I cheer for Golden State more.
I became a Cowboys fan because – wait, am I going to answer this question? I guess I will. I don't know if anybody cares. I've been a Cowboys fan since early. My dad was always a Cowboys fan. He went to the Super Bowl parades.
See, I thought you were going to say because I'm from Texas, but then you could also say, like, if your dad wasn't a Cowboys fan, I don't think you would be a Cowboys fan.
I probably wouldn't.
See, the interesting part about me is that my dad is a Cowboys fan, but I didn't become a Cowboys fan.
Mm. Well, and then also the Texans were created in 2002, so I could have easily just been like, "Oh, the Texans, that's a new franchise." That's when I was a kid. True. I became a Cowboys fan. You know, we always loved the old days. Went to the Super Bowl like parties that they always did and all that stuff. You know, my dad was pretty crazy back in the day. And then we went through the Quincy Carter years, the really shitty years before Romo, like the absolute shits. Where we were trying to find a quarterback. Ryan Leaf was our quarterback for a while, for a season. It's pretty trash. Then Romo became our QB, and we became the laughing stock of the NFL. But you suffered through it. Had some fond memories of players like Marion Barber, Felix Jones, Roy Williams, Miles Austin. Those guys, I always like those guys. And Marcus Ware, of course, Hall of Famer. And then we started getting good again when Romo started to actually play well for that one season. DeMarco Murray, still got the memories all there. So it was just like a family thing of watching good football with the Cowboys. So yeah, I've been through some bad times. Of course, being in the 21st century, not a lot of fans come to me and be like, "Oh yeah, you're a great, Cowboys fans." Woo! You always get some hate because of the Cowboys.
I became a Seahawks fan growing up in Calgary. We had the 49ers and the Seahawks on the television back in the day when there was Montana and Rice and Taylor and Rathman and Roger Craig. Is he on that top 100 list, by the way?
No.
Wow. Future debate. Ronnie Lott, all those
We'll
guys.
see why.
Brett Favre is a top 10 QB. We need that discussion.
He is actually very close in that conversation.
Come on.
Brett Favre? Oh, okay, whatever.
He's on the border there.
But yeah, there was the 49ers and the Seahawks. I just gravitated. It was Dave Craig, Kurt Warner, Steve Largent, Chuck Knox, Brown Pound. That's when I just kind of stuck with them. We had the Rick Meyer years, the Dan McGuire years. Dan, not Mark McGuire. Mark McGuire was a better quarterback than Dan McGuire, even though Mark McGuire never.
With the roids, yes, sir.
Right. Then John Kitna was the quarterback for a while. We've had some.
Had to deal with that too. Had to deal with that one too. Yeah.
Yeah. My gosh,
I've had Tom Brady. I don't know. That kind of sucks.
Matt Hasselbeck. We had Matt Hasselbeck.
We're gonna go there and score.
I had Matt Castle. He was good.
Yeah.
He was 11-5. We had Matt Castle and he was fucking 2 for 6.
That was Matt Castle, the genius.
Pissing me off. I wanted that.
Even though I will say this right now, the Patriots would have another Super Bowl if Tom Brady played that season. Just saying.
They probably would.
Who won that year?
Steelers.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh yeah, that was that crazy Harrison play.
Super Bowl 43. Yeah, they had the interception.
Yeah. But I just stuck with the team and through the ugly uniforms and all of that. And yeah, I know that some out here in Vancouver claim that the Seahawks are kind of the bandwagon town team. I mean, there's been some doozies in Seattle though. Brian Bosworth was a complete bust. There's
Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson ran. Bo Jackson, Todd Gurley, the Seahawks before Todd Gurley did it. So Bo Jackson ran to Pike Place there. This has been It's funner now to be a Seahawks fan, but we've been through some tough times. And I'm from Calgary, that's why I cheer for the Flames more. But I don't hate the Canucks. The Canucks. I wish they were better, but I think this would be great for the Canucks if they were better here in this city. But
at least I have.
So you have a soft spot for the Canucks.
I've always had a soft spot for the Canucks.
Interesting.
Yeah.
At least with Dallas, we have one championship. Go 2010, 2011 Dallas Mavericks, baby. We won't get there for a very, 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 very long time.
You beat the Raptors.
So I was shocked when we beat the Raptors. It was like the 4th best offensive team scoring versus the 29th. I'm like, God damn. Okay, I'll take it.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us here on the NFL Week 17 preview and prediction show. For Mitch, Kevel, Dilly, check out the rest of what our channel has to offer. If you have not, subscribe. If you have not, like the video and comment below your picks if you're just watching this on the rerun. Thanks for joining us. Again, we will have our playoff predictions up as soon as what day, Dylan?
Tuesday.
I'll have my old solo ones on Monday. We'll have the group ones on Tuesday.
And I'll have mine on Monday as well. All right, guys.
There's
I might
three.
do one Monday, Tuesday.
There's four.
And AC is probably not doing it because he's got his ass in Hawaii sipping on a beer. All right. Peace out.
Apple juice, Adam.